once again, my name is Hannah, but I think I've met all of you guys. I think so. So anyway, my name's Hannah. For anybody in the recording who doesn't know who I am, I also have multiple sclerosis, and I was diagnosed in 2017. And I used art to, I guess, help me rebuild myself after after a while of having MS. So that's my story in a nutshell. Let's get started. We have our mountains, our simple mountains in crayons. I like to joke that I'm not good with names at all. So if anybody comes up with a better name for this project, please tell me. Simple mountains in crayon will have to do for now. We will be starting off with our pencil, and we will be tracing our round thing, whatever that round thing may be. So you can tell I use this bowl for mine. But again, you can use a paper plate if you have that as well. A compass is always going to be my first choice if you happen to have a compass. But as always, I won't be using a compass today. Now I see we're getting a few more people trickling in, so forgive me if I repeat myself. I'll let everybody get settled in. So let me go ahead and grab my paper real quick. For those of you guys coming in for class today, I will go ahead and repeat our materials for the day. Of course, paper, a pencil, crayons, and something round to trace. Now I have to bookmark my page here. I'm just gonna do that and take a seat because it's there. All right, so I will start off by tracing my round thing. Use your pencil if you happen to be using a pencil, but if you're not using a pencil, that's okay. You can use a neutral color like gray to start out. That is going to be our first crayon. We'll be using a gray first. But if you don't have gray, that's okay. You can use any kind of neutral color or maybe a light color that you can think of. So there we go. Kind of missed the line there, so I'm going to do my best to connect the line. So use your round thing and trace it. Now, there's really no reason for using a round border other than it's very pretty. It's very aesthetically pleasing. At least for me, it is. But it does help to contain everything. However, if you don't like that round border, that's okay. You can just use a plain background. So use your paper, the squareness to your advantage. So for those of you who are just joining, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hi guys. Brandy, I love your background. Super cool background.
Thanks, I just found it with the new Zoom update.
Nice, I love that. Super cool. So we're tracing our background, and I want to, I guess, turn back to our picture. Now, like with any of our projects, this may take you the whole period, or you may be finished like in 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So it's really up to you and your coloring style. I did use crayons, and first thing I'm gonna do is go in here and draw our mountains. So they're not really gonna end in a particular place. Well, I'll take that back. You know what? Let's actually do our hills first. I think it might be easier to figure out where the mountains stop if we draw our hills first. Now, that is gonna be with a gray crayon. Now I need to look for a gray crayon, so I'm going to take a second here to find a gray crayon. I recently found my big bag of crayons It's just a bag that I have with a bunch of crayons, and I don't even know where I got the crayons. And they're not organized at all. Here we go. Got one. So keep in mind, whenever you create your hills, we want the majority of our space to be with mountains. So if you want to just kind of, I don't know, take your fingers and just sort of guess approximately where your mountains are going to be, then you can certainly do that. Perhaps my hills can come down right about here. Got one sloping up gradually like that. And then the other one is going to come on the other side. And it's going to slope down, kind of like that. I have plenty of space for mountains. Brandy says crayons have a very distinctive smell. They do, don't they? Like I opened up my bag and I got hit with crayon smell. Totally right. All right, how we feeling with the hills? We all right? Cool. I feel like I've had you guys draw harder things before. Okay. Next up, I'm going to show you mountains. So with this first mountain, I happen to do mine on the left-hand side, but you can do it on either side. We're going to do the front two mountains. So I typically like to have mine come up to a point or point-ish, like you can round it off if you want to, and then just sort of come down and slope kind of like that. These are very graceful mountains. So that's kind of what I'm going to make. But you can have more jagged edges if you want. And then I'll make the third one right in the middle. So let me show you. So first mountain, I tend to always make peaks, and I don't really intend to like that. They always just sort of start out the same way. And then the next one, take your time with it, okay? Wherever you have those peaks on any of your mountains, that's where we're going to have these kinds of lines. You can think of them as roadways, but I like to think of them as ridges. So just very abstract ridges. Wherever you have a peak, that's where you're going to have a ridge coming down. Again, this is very abstract, and I think that it's a little bit comforting to know that. Mountains are probably one of my absolute favorite things to draw. And then in the center, we're going to have one placed very nicely in the middle here. It can be taller or not. Now, your mountains can definitely look a little different or not. It's totally up to you. I think if I had a chance to maybe do this picture again or make the mountains again, I'd probably leave more sky space, just a little bit more, but next time. Always do it next time. Any questions? You guys doing all right? I always hope that silence is a good thing. Okay. So Let me turn back. Just going to set aside my gray for a minute there. I'm going to use it again. But for now, I'm going to grab a green, and I just happen to choose this kind of light green because that's just the color that I gravitate towards. I just love this color. So I am going to choose a light green again because I love that color so much. And something that I thought about later after I created this picture was that it might be kind of nice to grab a different kind of green, maybe a darker green, and put it in the back here, use it for back here. It's just an idea, just to throw that out there. And then I am also going to want to look for one of these colors, so your sky color. When I did this one, I really wanted it to sort of give the impression that maybe it was twilight or nighttime, maybe. So yours can be twilight, nighttime, or not. So I'm probably going to try and look for that color again. See somebody's kitty cat in a picture, in a frame. I love it. Okay, now I need to find my crayons. Found Granny Smith apple. I might use that. I don't remember if that's what I initially used. So for mine, I'm going to use yellow green and Granny Smith apple. So I'm going to do that idea where I'm going to put one that's slightly darker in the background. But in the original picture, I did use the same kind of green for both of them. And this is kind of where we're going to start off, just to kind of dip our toes into it a little bit and create those lines. You can see these lines are spaced out, but not precisely spaced out, you know? And these lines as well, also spaced out, but not precisely. Just enough to make it fun. So grab my green, and let's start with the easier one. At least for me, it's the easier one. This one right here. I started from the pointy part right here. Now you see it's kind of wobbly right there. That was just my hand. I didn't intend to do that, but it works out. Spaced out, but not totally intentionally spaced out. Starts in the middle here and then gradually comes apart like so. Now, if your marks happen to follow the exact same path, then more power to you, because that's more than I can do. Kind of like that. That's kind of how you give the illusion of having a rolling hill. At least that's how I do it. All right, so next one, gonna be the one back here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna start in the corner, except this time my corner is right here. Gonna follow the same path. Now I tried to keep it pointing up here, but didn't quite happen. That is okay. As long as we keep on curving, we're good. We want to be curvy. Like that. Any questions so far? You all right? Cool. Good to know. Now, normally I would have everyone jump to like, I guess the mountains. But I do think it would be nice if we can go in there and color some sky for a little bit. So once again, I am going to choose like some sort of twilight type color, but if you've got another color, like another blue or a purple even, that would work out really nicely. Now, I did notice here that I darkened up my gray line here. So in order to clean up this line right here, I am going to do that first. Let's clean up this line, maybe this line too. If I could find my gray. There you go. I'm just going to darken it up. Make sure it shows up a little bit more. I want you to notice on my picture, some of my lines sort of protrude outside of my circle just a little bit. We'll be able to clean that up later. So we'll clean that up probably after we've put in all of our colors and all of our lines. So we will fix that. It does already look a lot better with the cleaning up of the gray lines. So that's that. I need to find a sky color. I found cerulean. That's kind of pretty. Cerulean. I have to find my picture again. Here we go. So I did start off by outlining the tops of my mountains as well as the bottom of my sky down here. So I did do that, and it does help to create a sort of barrier from between the sky and the mountain if you outline it. So I got my sky color. So I'm starting to outline underneath my sky, but you can outline on top of it too. Break it up a little bit, break up your line if that helps you. Press down harder if that helps you as well. For me, for whatever reason, pressing down harder helps me to make cleaner lines. And then outline your mountain. There we go. And then anytime you're ready, you can go in there and let me show you first. All of my crayon marks are moving the same direction. Some of them don't really even reach the top, and that's just my hand. That's just how my hand went. Um, it's completely up to you. I do encourage you guys to just go in one direction because it's a little bit more cohesive that way. But if you can't make it work, that's okay. Do whatever you need to do. And after I went over the whole thing with just one direction, I went over certain portions again. I just pressed down harder. That's all. Just press down a little harder so that it looks more weighted on the bottom. So here's how you do that. Pick a direction, any direction. For me, it just feels more comfortable to hold the crayon like this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not really pressing down particularly hard. Just letting the crayon do what it's gonna do. I didn't even reach all the way to the mountain. But since I'm gonna make it more, since I'm gonna go over that portion again, it's okay. Like that. So that was one layer. And then second layer, I'm gonna go back in there, press down a little harder. Now here's what you can do in case you do want to go a different direction. If you want to, go the opposite direction, but start in a small area, like in between the mountains, like somewhere in between the mountains. Start like that. That's if you want to crosshatch. You don't have to. And then here's another idea, something that I didn't do on the other picture. But if you wanted to, you could go over it with another blue or maybe even a purple. That way you can create layers. Again, just an idea. You can certainly experiment if you want to. Now you'll notice here, I crisscrossed over my mountains. Not exactly surprising given my heavy-handedness. So here's a fix. Well, what I hope is a fix. Go over it with your gray crayon. Just depends on what color you use for the sky. Go over those lines again with your gray crayon. And if that doesn't work, then, like it's not working with mine, then let's see what we can do on the fly. Let's take that same blue and go over my lines again with that blue. Well, that's working out a lot better. I always encourage experimentation just to figure out where to go with it. Now that did help to clean up those lines. So depending on you, you can go over it with either your gray or your blue. Just depends on you. Now, please let me know if I'm going very quickly. We're actually almost finished with this project. So like I said, for some people, it'll take the whole class period. Some people, you might be able to throw in two or three mountains in there. Now, after this, we will go back to using our gray. We'll get to create those ridges now. So these guys right here. And I did use a pencil for that portion. You can see, I actually forgot to erase my pencil marks here, but they're totally erasable later. So what I did was I started at the top of my mountain first. And then I just sort of created a ribbon, like a ribbon-like line. And then right alongside it, went and created the other side of that ridge. Same thing with, so afterwards, I jumped over to the next bump in the mountain, so to speak. And same thing, started it and on one side, created a ribbon, made a few little variations in bumpiness in the ribbon. That may have been a mistake, I don't remember, but it worked out. And same thing with the other side. Create that ribbon yet again, going all the way to the bottom. Do that for all of your mountains, but also all of your bumps, all of those jagged edges that you created at the top. So perhaps if you decide after this to create another picture, which I may do actually, you can decide whether to put more or less of those bumps in your mountains, depending on how you like it. So I'm gonna get my pencil. We'll start with the very top portion. And gonna ribbon, snake it down like that. I didn't really intend on making that one a little bit more pointy, but it happened. And then again with my pencil, come right next to it. Like that. You can think of it as a road if you want to. It's a very big road, but still a road.
Magma.
Magma, thank you. That's a good one. Like maybe these are mountains in Hawaii. Has anyone here ever been to Hawaii? I've always wanted to go. I've never been.
Yes, but not to the volcano, sadly.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I
Over the volcano.
what was that?
I flew over the volcano.
Oh, really? Wow. I bet you got stories to tell.
Cool.
I am pretty adventurous, but I don't know how I could handle bugs. The Hawaiian bugs. So like first thing that popped into my mind, but that's just me.
That used to be me too. You'd forget.
You forget? Okay,
Yeah,
Good.
totally.
good. That's good to know. So I'm gonna move on to my next little lump here. So one that's off on the side here. And I know that this bump doesn't really come to like a point. So if yours is like that, you can certainly make the call to either, I don't know, either have it like open like this, have your lines open like this, or you can make them come to a point like I did with this one. These two lines came to a point there. It's completely up to you. There we go. Another magma line there. And you just kind of do that for each of your mountains. I'll definitely start with this one, this point here. They can slope like downward at like a downward incline, or like they can slope like going towards the middle, in the middle. It's completely up to you. And then for this one, I know I have like 2 bumps on the side here. So I'm just gonna make these very short ribbons, just the beginnings of ribbons. Same thing with this one. They can be as ribbony, I'm sure that's a word, as you want them to be. It'll come together after we put the lines in. Let's see if I can find my picture again. Here's one of my practice runs, one of my tester pieces. So that's just an idea, just throwing that out there. Again, it was a tester, so maybe next time if somebody really wants to, they can use brown maybe. I think I tried to just like pick 2 colors to layer on these. It worked out pretty well for the purple, in my opinion, like surprisingly. So you can kind of get the idea behind the next set of lines this time. So what I did when I did the lines is I started in the middle ribbon. So for this one, this ribbon right here, and you're gonna want your lines to go pretty much the opposite. So downward this way, and then the other ones downward that way, sloping the opposite direction. And then whatever is next to it, so this side, it's going to go the opposite of what you just did that way. So let me go ahead and show you as an example in my picture. In case I'm confusing you with my words, let me show you with what I'm doing. I'm going to take my gray, and I do want to outline what I just created with the pencil. And if you don't like that look of having the pencil show up, then you can certainly erase some of it. Not enough, not erase all of it, but most of it. Erase it lightly so you can still see the line, but more faintly. But if that doesn't bother you, then you can just kind of go ahead and outline it. Okay, so before we move too far, let me show you what I did. I chose the center ribbon, so whatever's in the middle, and it's going to start by sloping downward from the center, like that. Just going to make some lines. They can have more of an angle to them if you want them to have more of an angle. And then after you're done with one side, jump to the other side and have it slope downward the opposite way, like that. And if your hand ever gets tired, then that's okay. Like you can pause, stretch your hand a little bit, roll your wrist a little bit if you can, whatever makes you comfortable. You know, as long as I've been using crayons, my hand still gets pretty tired. But maybe that's just because I'm very heavy-handed with my crayons. And then so for the next one, whatever you did last, so I did this one last, you do the opposite on this side. So I'm gonna go slope downward this way for this last section. And that's just to create some variation. If you find your own pattern that you'd rather adhere to, then go for it. As always, go for it. I hope that makes a little more sense. Now I'm going to continue outlining those ribbons. I probably should have erased them, but oh well. Here we are. I'll erase them next time. So once again, start with the middle ribbon. I'm going to start with the left side, just because. I'm going to create these lines that slope downward like that. And they don't have to slope at that same angle that you did previously on the other mountain. It can have a steeper angle if you want. Like this one, I just went ahead and created a steeper angle. Now for me, I'm going to consider this one to be my middle ribbon. So I'm going to start with this one. I mean, at the very least, it's the most obvious. So maybe I'll make this one a little bit more of a slope. And you'll notice that just on my second line, I had to start making them much longer. So I'll probably just have to squeeze some lines in here.
Good fun, ladies. I got a meeting I gotta go to, so I'll see you later.
Who is that? Is that Tammy?
Yeah, this is Tammy.
Ah, good to see you, Tammy. Thanks for joining us.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. How y'all doing on the lines? Doing okay? Doing not okay? It's okay. Has anyone ever done or created an in-depth crayon picture? I'm just curious.
No, and I'm using colored pencils right now, so I lost this opportunity.
Next time. I'd love to see what it looks like with the colored pencils.
Sure.
Yeah, I love love doing stuff with crayons because they're just, I feel like they're versatile.
I just gave all mine away, so
Ah.
yeah, I thought I was done with that. Now I'm like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, not too many people think they're gonna use them in an adult
Yeah.
adult class. Although I think I did do, that's right, I did do a crayon picture back in January. We have a recording of that one.
Well, maybe Crayola will sponsor you.
Right? Haven't heard anything from Tombo yet. Crayola should be another one. So I want to point out something that I did in this little middle section right here. It turned out that if I were to do completely like the opposite type of lines, I think they would have clashed with these lines up here. So I just chose to make them a little bit more horizontal. So I just chose to make them completely different from both sets of lines here. And you can make that decision. You can do that. And then to finish up, if you want to, you can take your green or one of your greens and start to outline your circle here. Now let me show you why I chose green. Maybe that'll help you figure it out. So I just kind of started to outline the whole thing in green, and then I realized, oh, hey, I have sky up here. I should maybe not clash with the sky. That was the only reason I did that. But please feel free to outline with any crayon you have, any color, whether it's existing in your picture already or not. You can even outline the whole thing in gray too, if you want. Would anyone like to share? And if I'm the only one finished, then that's okay.
We can be using the same technique with the old pastel, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah, it would look really nice with oil pastel.
Yeah, even chalk. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Probably can be nice with the old pastels. I
Yeah.
will try next time. Yeah.
You know what? Even if you have like a chalkboard or something similar to a chalkboard, even if you just did it in just the one color of chalk, just white, it would look great.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I
Oil
like
pastel would be
the
nice.
liquid chalk. So.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't think
I like to paint everything. So.
Yeah, I was about to
What's
say.
never working with me? So.
I haven't touched chalk in forever.
Yeah.
Oh, Judy, I see you holding yours up. We'll do Judy, and then Merle will place a spotlight on you.
Yeah.
There you go. There we
I got
go.
short in the sky. Yeah.
Oh, Judy, it looks like you are muted. Let me see. I may have done that because I think I muted everybody. I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Oh no, Judy, you're still muted. What is happening?
a minute. Okay.
There we go.
And use purple, and then I've got some yellow down in the bottom here.
Ah, lovely.
But I made that big mistake in the mountain.
I can't tell.
Yeah, it
I
still
don't
looks okay.
see. I don't see it. But I like the purple with the yellow. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I like the purple sky with the
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah. It looks good. Thank you. Now, Merle, I'm gonna spotlight you again.
Yeah.
There we go. Can we see it again? Oh, that's lovely. You chose the brown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different browns, different yellows, and blue and purple
Nice.
the sky. Even it showed my sky, my mountain
Yeah.
are so high.
No, I love that you both chose to use purple and blue. And it's kind of making me want to do that too now.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
The crayons
Cool.
look good on that. You know, the crayons. That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Susie, let me spotlight you now. There we go.
Oh,
That's
nice.
lovely. I love how bold everything looks. That is beautiful.
I colored my rivers, so.
Yeah.
Yay, they're rivers. I like it.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Just everything stands out because you were able to outline everything in the black.
Yeah.
Is it black or dark gray?
Well, it started gray, and then when I went over it with the green and the blue, I think it just kind of turned that darker black
It just
color.
turned dark.
So yeah.
Hey, it worked out.
Yeah.
It worked out really well though. Super cool. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And thanks for teaching us.
Yes.
Of course. Anyone else like to show? If you're still working, that's okay.
I can show mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have two because I went through one really fast and I put the magma and I tried to do a lot of color. Boy, it's really hard. It's backwards. Anyway, so then I thought I'm just gonna do it kind of normal and yeah, and then that made me feel a little more peaceful inside. And just in case it looks like I'm like burning my paper, I was camping this weekend with my son, and so we made like charcoal drawings. He burned
Oh,
stick,
cool.
and it was like kind of on fire, and he was drawing with it, and then like burning holes, and you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm not like putting cigarettes out on my artwork or anything.
That's great. I love how you sort of redirected after you made the magma. And you're just like, I need something a little more calming.
Yeah. Well, I showed
like
my partner,
that.
he said, "Where's the smoke?" And I was like, "Oh, all right, I'm moving on."
That's great though. Cool. Thank you for sharing, Brandy. Who else? Oh, Jackie says thank you. You're welcome, Jackie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Super cool. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that we'd be finished early so I could make another one, but I guess it's not quite enough. I guess I can't really make it in like 10 minutes. That's okay. But what I can do is maybe add another color to my sky, because I really love what y'all did with your skies with the blue and the purple. Like, I have a crayon called Purple Mountains Majesty. Perfect. Like, now it's starting to look a little more like Twilight. That's not too bad. I was really missing some mountains. whenever I made this painting or picture. Hence why we all get to draw it. Not too bad. It's more of like a lighter purple. There we go. Anyone else like to share? See some people still working. Totally fine. Oh, yay, Marianne. Gonna spotlight you real quick.
Oh,
Kind of noisy over here, so.
I like it though. Man, your mountains are just gorgeous. Like, I feel like that that name Purple Mountains Majesty. I feel like it fits.
Oh, thank you. This was fun.
Beautiful. Yay, I'm glad you liked it. Did you outline your mountains or your sky in purple?
Yep,
Or is that
purple.
just trickle? Okay.
No, that's
I was about to
purple.
say, I like that.
I needed a little bit of splash of color up there.
Yeah, no, it did really well up there.
Oh,
Super
this was
cool.
fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now, I guess this is probably a good time to show you what next week's class is going to be. And then, well, I guess I'll ask you the question after I show you. Share my screen real quick. There it is. So this one's going to be watercolor, actually. So basically watercolor and Q-tip. I chose to use Q-tip because I don't want anybody to feel like they have to go out and grab an entirely new set of anything, set of art supplies. So if you already have brushes, then that is perfectly fine. You can certainly use them, but if you don't, then that's okay. You don't have to stress over getting any paintbrushes at all. Just use a Q-tip and you can do the whole thing in Q-tips. So we'll start off with the brown, and I added a little bit of green in there, but I've also done a painting where I added a little bit of purple in there too, just to make it a little more interesting. So yeah, it's a whole thing. So if you don't have any watercolor paper, that's okay too. You can also tape it down with masking tape beforehand. And I will ask Casey to let everyone know in the description to this picture. So hope you guys have fun with it.
Is that
Yeah.
like the bluebells of Texas or
Yeah, the blue bonnets. Yes.
or blue bonnets? Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah, and actually I created this a while back for a patient in the hospital who particularly wanted to paint trees and blue bonnets. So we did that one together, and I just sort of ended up keeping it for everyone. Cool. So, yeah. Stop share. Okay. Yeah, hope you guys like that one. But again, like, don't feel like you need to buy anything fancy, just the watercolors and Q-tip, and then we're good. I wanted to get everyone's opinions though. How do you feel about doing a very, very easy, simple acrylic painting?
Oh, nice. I love that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Like
Yes.
super. Okay. Yay. I hear lots of yeses, but if you don't want to, that's okay. And what I'm talking about is something like this, called a scrape painting, where you literally can take maybe, I would say minimum 3 colors, but if you want to do more, you can. And then you take a gift card and you scrape along the along the paper.
Hmm.
So
Are
very,
we
very,
supposed-
very
Are we
easy.
supposed to be seeing what we would make with it? I only see your mountains.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I was showing it to a different screen. That's why. There it is. So that would be a scrape painting. So this
Awesome.
is, yay. I'm glad
Yeah.
you guys are cool with it. Here's one that I did during Christmas time.
Oh, nice.
So
Cool.
same technique, but I wasn't sure how everyone thought because you would have to go out and buy some acrylic paint. So there is that. But instead of using paintbrushes, you use a gift card. So yay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For next week, you said watercolor. Are you using watercolor pencils or are you using different just paint, watercolor paint? What are we using?
Yeah, just good question actually. Just regular watercolors. So I have a few different brands that I turn to, but like I think that particular picture I just use Crayola. So just regular watercolor pan.
Okay.
Do just fine. Yeah. Crayola has watercolors, and they're really cheap. You can get them at Walmart or Target, really anywhere. This was a little fancier if you want a little extra colors, but this one will do perfectly fine. Good question. And if anyone has any like suggestions for art projects or supplies, like let me know. I am all ears. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this project. You'll definitely be seeing more crayons because it's just something that I always pull out of my back pocket. So you'll definitely be seeing more crayons. Yeah. So
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, you guys. I'm glad you had fun.
Thanks,
Thank
Anna.
you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah.